Hello everyone, Warangel here, and welcome back to the adventures of Sultan Jaffar. Now last episode we continued our campaign against the orcs of the Top Knots tribe, taking their last remaining settlements at Bagar and Caliphate up here to the north, and leaving them now as a single horde outside the Springs of Eternal Life. But in the previous turn, because as you can tell I've skipped forward a turn since the end of the last episode, I've made a bit of a controversial decision in order to make a peace treaty with them. And the reason being was something that was suggested in the comments of the last video with regards to the Bowmen of Orient. Now, after us taking them out to Ragnos, which we'll be doing next, our next target would be the Lost Plateau. But we do have the region trading mod, which means we could just buy the plateau from them. And it means that we can keep them then in their capital here at Orient's camp, which as you can see is unsuitable for us, and uninhabitable, in fact. And keeping it for ourselves if we went to war against them would just be annoying to deal with, you know? So what we could do is just keep them there. Now the slight complication with this plan is that we do want to take out the dwarves of Clan Zorn over here, and they are currently in a defensive alliance with the elves. So, what I'm going to try is, once we get dealt with the Mount of Ragnos, and then we get in position to go to Caliphate Zorn, I'm going to use the clan's current war with the Top Knots tribe in order to try and join the war through the Top Knots, so that way then we can actually attack them and circumvent the defensive alliance with the elves. Now, I don't know if this is going to work, because at the moment we have a very negative relationship with the Top Knots tribe. But I'm going to give it a try. And if not, we could always just attack them, or I suppose, with the region trader mod and the way it works, technically, if we build up a positive relationship with the dwarves of plus 50, we can just buy their capital. But that seems weird to me, just to buy the last remaining settlements of a faction directly. It just doesn't make sense. So I want to try and avoid that if possible. So we are going to do that, but we do have some orcs to kill instead with the Ragnos tribe. So Sultan Jaffar is pretty much back up to full strength, and I want to take them out this turn before Clan Zorn, who look like they've been marching up closer and closer towards them, get their greasy hands on the mountain. So, let's go, declare war. That might actually be a small problem. I'll tell you what. If we go back to the Bowmen of Orient, now I have given them a small gift in the previous turn, so we are slowly building our relationship up. What's this? Past treaties with the Top Knots tribe. Oh. I just don't like the fact that we are a great power, and I really don't like that. But what I will do, because these are currently at war with the Ragnos tribe. So if we go down to join war, and see if they are willing to let us join in their war with them. Moderate chance?
Wise indeed.
Excellent. That's going to improve our relationship as well, because we have a joint war against them too. So that's going to help things out a bit. In that case... Oh, we have a mission. It's completed. It's just a shame it doesn't look like we actually get anything like money or anything from it. That's a shame. But anyway, let's go down and kill us some more orcs. This should be a pretty easy fight because the Ragnos tribe have mainly goblins. Well, as you can see. The garrison's a little bit tougher. Oh wow, they have the Ragnarok Queen. Okay. Interesting. But Banspar majorly in my favour. We're just going to go and do that. We did lose quite a few men in that fight. Perhaps not surprisingly, considering they outnumber us nearly 3-1. But sure, we shall go occupy it. Right, they do have access as well to exotic animals as a trade resource. So do we have... Yes, we have room. Let's go and... Hang on, what's that? Altitude dwellings. High mountains are unforgiving and possibly host to several annoyed monsters. Human adaptability can take care of both. Oh, this is... I don't know if this is built from maybe the landmarks of the old world mod or something like that. But as you can see, it allows us to negate penalties from hostile climates in the region. Which typically for the human factions, being in the mountains and that is, is hostile, unsuitable. So this looks like this actually gives some debuffs to that. In fact, if we built it now, I think it would actually give us some really good bonuses because we actually have it as suitable climates. But the problem is, we don't need to build that, to be honest, and looking at it, it just affects the local region rather than the province as a whole. So let's leave that, and I think we'll just go for the exotic animal trader. Eventually we'll get the garrison building as well, so we can make sure it's fortified. But we'll take that for the minute. But that is now done. All we need to do now is actually finish off this last army outside the Springs of Eternal Life. They may attack it, they may not. I don't know yet. We'll wait and see. But you can do that. Baba I've got continuing down towards Karakzorn because I want to see what they've actually got. So if you don't get stopped by the spider... Oh wow, they've got 2 armies. But don't forget, we have lightning strikes, so it should work out just fine. So we'll leave them to do their thing. We've got 18,000. Let's send another gift towards the bowmen, just to see if it can help out a little bit more.
Deliver your message.
3,000 this time. Sure.
Just so.
Yeah, up to 44. We're nearly getting to the 50 that we need. So I'm quite happy to let that continue. Now, you've done your done. Muzdahir ibn Alabas. Now, it was also suggested in the comments of the last episode by Alpha Wheel, if I remember right, that even though they've got quite a few armies from the Wakaf dynasty around the Black Tower, we do have a superior army in terms of quality. And so I don't see any reason, now that we don't have to deal with the last remaining army of the Top-Knots, that we can just start our war against the Wakaf dynasty. And while I haven't been shown it during the end turn phases, the prospectors have been asking me a few times to actually join in the war, although they haven't really given me much in the way of money. So in fact, why don't we try and make a little bit of extra cash right now? We'll go to these guys, offer to join their war against these. Are they willing to give me any money? Probably not, to be honest. Oh no, I want money from them, not money from me. No, okay. It was worth a try. But anyway, that might explain why they've only been offering me like 300 gold to join in the war. But, because we don't have Lightning Strike, I'm going to be playing sensibly. And we might as well go against the Black Pyramid itself, because it does look unoccupied right now. So, let's declare war. Yes, we'll bring in our prospector allies who are already at war. And let's have a look. Excuse me, I told you to come and attack? Thank you. Wow, that is a tiny garrison, but the balance bar isn't as much in my favour as I would like. And bearing in mind, the enemy have got 2 stacks within marching range. So I would like to try and keep as much of my army alive as possible, so I think we're going to fight this battle ourselves. Now we do have 2 magical banners, so what do I want to give the banner of Eternal Flame to? I think... let's give it to the Scorpion. That could be interesting. And given that they've got their own Scorpion as well, this could be a real match of the Scorpions, you know, in this battle. But we also got the Wailing Banner, which allows us to cause terror. Now we could give it to our Arabian Guard, but I'm thinking we'll give it to our Dervishes as well. Having them as shock troops with the ability to cause terror and their anti-infantry capabilities, I think could work out quite handy. So yeah, let's fight the battle and see how we do. Welcome everyone to the battle for the Black Pyramid of Nagash that, if we scroll up, you can see hovering over here in the distance. This settlement to me is one of the probably outlying ones that probably would have had, you know, people living there, or the undead working here, I should say, and minor, you know, lords and that being buried around the place before getting closer and closer to the pyramid itself. But we're here to take the settlement nonetheless. Now what I've decided to do is march my entire infantry squad, including my Arabian Guard and my dervishes over here, in order to try and climb up the wall using their ladders. In fact, let's go back to normal speed. While that's going on then, we've got my nomads over here to take advantage of the high ground to start firing down on the Tomb Guard unit over there. And in order to try and deal with the Screaming Skull catapults here, I've sent in my Flying Carpets and my Kimar in order to go and chase them down. So they're going to be off to do that. My Scorpion is coming in now, being buffed up by healing spells along the way in order to attack the gates itself. And what I've decided to do as well is bring in all my heroes to climb up on a spare piece of wall right here, so that way they can get into the battle pretty quickly. Now luckily for us, we're not taking much in the way of damage from all these arrow fire, just because these guys are heavily armoured and they have shields as well. And don't forget, we do have healing spells as well, so I am constantly remember to buff up my troops using healing as much as possible. Now we get to an awkward moment here at the gates though, where as you can see everyone's got there, but despite giving them the orders initially to climb up, nobody's doing it, and so I'm going around to them one by one and giving them their orders. But as they make their way up to the walls over here, we've got the Khmer attacking those screaming skulls. Now we've already smashed one of them to pieces, the other one's still able to fire though, because it's not a whole unit, it is just one character, or one model I should say, doing it. But we are trying to be quick because we do have the Necrosphinx coming in now to attack as well. And it has, if I hover over it, anti-large capability, so we don't want it taking out my Khmer if possible. So instead we're just going to bring it up into the air and drop a fireball down to destroy yet another catapult. They've only got one left now, so it's going to be easy targets now for the flying carpets. While that's going on though, our troops are starting to make it up onto the walls itself. We got my characters all just hovering around. One catapult actually gets a shot off, but doesn't do a single thing to my unit here. And using our healing spells, and as well as the Awakening of the Woods, we are starting to do some early damage to their infantry units that have actually come away from the walls, I noticed, and started to make their way towards the centre, no doubt because they're worried about the presence of my monster here, as well as the flying carpets nearby. So the things like the Scorpion have actually pulled back, their Tomb Prince has pulled back. It's just making it much easier for me to take the walls without really taking any casualties at all. But if that's what they want to do, I'm quite happy to allow them to do that. Now since we are dealing with the troops on the wall, the Khmer is pretty safe, likewise the flying carpets from arrow fire. So if we go back over here, we can see that the fight is going pretty well for us. I'm continuing to buff people up if we hover here with Earthblood, so we can heal them up nice and easily. There is one unit of Tomb Guard hanging on in there, but it has taken a few casualties. And it is facing both my Arabian Guard and my Dervishes are now coming over here from the flank. It's going to take a little while though, just because they are trying to climb up the walls as well as charge in, but they'll be able to deal with them eventually. Now speaking of that, my Scorpion now has managed to come in, and I've only just noticed, I haven't seen this up close before, but if I just hover in, look how cool that is. Not only have they done a good job with actually sorting out the Scorpion's colour so it doesn't look like one of the Tomb King constructs, but look at the fact they've even got a guy hanging on there for dear life. Now, I don't know, is that the case on the Tomb Scorpion? Let me have a look. It's not, so that's actually a cool little feature, although if you hover over here you can see the mummified corpse of the, I believe it, I can't remember, is it a Lich Priest or a Necrotech? That's basically animating the Tomb Scorpion. That's pretty cool. But anyway, while our gates are now open, we're starting to bring in our remaining troops out from the side. We've got Camel Lancers coming in if we hover down. You can see they look really cool. Considering that there isn't a camel model in the game, they've managed to do a pretty good job of setting this up, haven't they? But we also got our Arabian Ogres coming in. They look pretty cool, don't they? Really cool. The only thing I was a little disappointed with, to be honest with these guys, is as they move, they don't actually make, like, some of the other models we've used, the other ogres, such as with the Grudgebringers, they use the orc voices, which is quite fitting for them. Whereas these guys, they just sound like elephants. That's weird. That's really weird. But anyway, we're now pushing these in order to come into the centre. We're still dealing with the units up on the walls as much as possible, but to be honest, they're just archers and the remnants of that Tomb Guard unit. They are losing decisively, but don't forget, they are quite tough. So it's going to take a little while for us just to try and deal with them. But while they're doing that, basically the enemy is just marching around now in the centre. The Scorpion's hanging around on this side, they've got the Tomb Prince, they've got Tomb Guard coming in as well. So there's not really much that they can try and do against me, to be honest. It's given me plenty of opportunities at least to bring in my own forces and later on to set up ready for us to deal with them quite quickly. But we just need to get rid of the enemy on the wall first. So while they're doing this then, we've got the last remnants of the Tomb Guard hanging on in there. My troops are doing a fantastic job just knocking them down. You can see already that they're starting to just have a few people left. Eventually the damage they're going to get from the low morale is going to kick in, and that's going to make the battle much more quickly for us. Whereas over here now, we've got our Arabian Guard, I'm saying Tomb Guard now, Arabian Guard, dealing with the skeleton archers. A pretty one-sided fight, and they are starting to crumble. But it's just annoying that they are getting healed up in that as well, and I'd want to start moving my troops to deal with the other enemies. So what we're doing now is bringing the Arabian Guard to set up down here, so we can basically block off this entrance and start coming in from multiple angles into the courtyard itself. So they're doing that. My heroes now also hanging on in there. The Life Wizard casting yet another healing spell just to help things out a bit. And eventually I'm going to start doing the same with these guys. We've already got our heroes coming in. The Sheik right here is hammering away with his sword. And if we look around elsewhere, we should be able to spot the Askar. Where is he? Arabian Guard. Excuse me, my Askar. Here he is. I believe that's him here with the sword. That's it. But as they come in now to finish off the archers, I'm bringing in the other guard in order to take position down here. But thanks to the crumbling, they're going to go down extremely quickly between the two of them. And eventually we just see the entire army just vanish like that. Likewise over here now, we've only got 28 Tomb Guard to deal with, and they're starting to crumble as well. So they're going to disappear very quickly, and we can start moving on then to deal with the centre. So here we are guys, a little later. All of my forces have basically walked into position ready to start dealing with the last remaining units. They did have a Tomb Guard unit that actually got badly damaged, thanks to me using the magic lantern that we've got with our Sheik, Alabas. So he's able to do a ton of damage to them, although not so much with the individual units back here. But they are just waiting patiently for my forces to arrive, aren't they? But got troops getting into position here, ready to start marching down there. We've got others coming in to do the same over here. Now what I've done is send 2 units in order to set up along the entrance here. This other unit of Arabian Guard are coming to attack the Tomb Guard over here. And supplementing them, we are bringing in the Dervishes, which haven't actually had a chance to check out properly yet. We've seen them at a distance. But they look pretty cool, don't they? I like the fact that they don't actually carry great swords, do they? No. Despite what it says there, they actually got 2 swords. So they look pretty cool, don't they? A bit lightly armoured, but really good on the charge. And wow, just charging in right in straight away. Now as they're sending in, we've got the Arabian Guard coming in on the flank, and eventually then we're just getting in position to go after the last remaining units. So we've got my nomads firing away against their Tomb Prince, doing a fair bit of damage to them. The enemy is starting to come towards us, bit by bit, so I started advancing my actual forces. Now my 2 heroes are going to go and engage their Tomb Prince first of all. These 2 units of Arabian Guard are coming after the Scorpion, and the other 2 are going to go after the Necro-Sphinx here. While they're doing that, we are bringing in the other 2 units of guard, as well as the Arabian Ogres, to come and attack them as well, just swarming them in the centre basically as much as we can. And of course, while we're doing this, we are buffing our own troops up with healing spells and everything as much as we need to. Now I do must admit, it's finding it quite funny watching my troops get sent flying across by that Scorpion. And then as they get knocked down, they just get back up and continue the fight. But things are going one way for them now, and that means they're going to lose. Their Tomb Prince is still hanging on in there with barely any health. Okay, just one of those things. I've got camels coming in now because they are anti-large. I thought they might come in handy against the enemy's Necro-Sphinx. And to help out even more, we've even got our own Chaos Spawn. Now don't forget, we've got that shard with the Twilight Mirror that I've given to my Nomad. So he's able to summon in 2 units of Chaos Spawn a battle. So between them, we've still got the Ushapti around here, but they've very quickly vanished. And the Necro-Sphinx now has just been defeated. And with that, decisive victory for us. So now we can go back to the campaign map, knowing that we have secured the Black Pyramid itself, right, in the hands of the living. So see you guys back on the map. So there we go, guys. A decisive victory for us, and the Black Pyramid belongs to us now too. And only 69 casualties, which, for the sake of it, nice. That's a no joke now, ain't it? But anyway, let's go this. And we could actually loot and occupy, get quite a bit of money from this. And a few, well, I presume undead slaves. Do I? Don't I? You know what? We'll just occupy it. We've got plenty of money coming in. I'm not that fussed for it, to be honest. But we have secured the Black Pyramid. Now, if we pop for all of those, let's have a look and see what we can build. Because normally you get the landmark building, don't you? Or not? Oh, okay. We can build the Nehekaran excavation, but we can't build the actual Black Pyramid. Interesting. Okay, then. Anyway, what are we going to do with the Black Pyramid, though? Well, given the fact that it's a single region in the entire province, there's no point, I think, trying to build it up for economy. So what I'm thinking is that we just build it up for military and have it as another recruitment area. Now, given in mind it's right next to our main capital here at Al Haq, pretty much anyway, so we'll be able to recruit armies pretty close together easily enough. And it will allow me to increase the cap that we got on certain heroes, like Asma. Is it called Asmas? I can't remember what the bloody name is. 1 second. If I pop onto heroes. Askar, not Asmir. I was close enough. But anyway, that's what I think we should do for the Black Pyramid. So, let's have a quick look-see. We do want to get some defenses up. I'll definitely go for that. And I think I do kind of want to get my hands on those, but bearing in mind as well, I want to make sure we get the growth going a fair bit as too. Now, we could just go for the nomads. I mean, it is giving me +5 public order. We are dealing with corruption right now as well. But let's have a look. For the moment, let's get a jihad going. Oh no, I'll tell you what, since we are thinking, let's go for growth and that. We'll try and rely just on that to build up the settlements, more or less, at least until the next tier. And then we can make, although... No, let's actually do this. Let's go for fields, so we get the extra growth coming in as well. We'll fortify the pyramid first, before we start using it for military buildings. We'll start building those in the next upgrade. So we'll go for this right now, get the growth going as quickly as we can, and that should be us sorted for that. So while you're doing that then at the Black Pyramids, here we can continue upgrading. I want to get the carpenters building there. I think we're okay for here for the minute. I do want to bear in mind there is something I want to start recruiting. And there was a suggestion also made in the comments of the last episode, which, or was it the episode before? I think it was the episode before, but I think it's a cool idea. And it's something I don't typically do, and that is getting an army of monsters. Now, I have prepared by recruiting Reza Azem here already, a heroic sheik with the two-leg Beastmaster skill, which, as you can see, provides a lot of bonuses for war elephants. So, let's recruit him first of all, and we have got plenty of money coming in, so we can easily afford to do this. We're going to come on here, and if we pop over where, here they are. Let's start things off, I think, with, what do you think, 5 war elephants to start things off? And bearing in mind, we have a lot of monsters at our disposal, right? We've got the Kimar Anar, we do have elephants as well as war elephants, we've got ogres, which I would consider monstrous, because it's what it says in the title. We have behemoth scorpions, we have genies, we will be getting our hands on giants eventually. I think, yeah, 2 more turns and then we can get our hands on giants as well. And I don't know how many turns they're going to cost, but I think that would be a good start for us. Now, we could go for the extra bonus, but what I'm thinking actually, because we want to build this up quickly, let's go for jihad, in order to get that local recruitment capacity upgraded. And then that reminds me, did I, over here in Kemri, let's switch this out to crack the whip. what I've decided to do is I did go in the previous turn, just go and sort out the slaves and that. So, for example, the Land of the Dead here will get loads of our slaves because we're getting a ton of money and I want to keep that continuing. So, we'll definitely be making sure to do that. But you guys have now done your turn. You're recruiting. You guys have moved. We only got 1,900 left. I think we'll save the money. Quickly upgrade our forces. So Mazda here, Ibn Abbas. We could continue giving you your combat skills. Armor piercing, vigor loss reduction could be quite nice. But no, what I'm thinking is we'll go for Aspiring Presence. We've got one more point. Oh wow, we can't give him that yet. Interesting. Nomad units. Let's again go for the Sultan's Royal Armory. Continue building up our troop capabilities there. So we'll give you that. Our Hazen, we could give him Flesh to Stone, or even push forward for evasion. But I think for the moment I'm going to give him the Flying Carpet, just to make sure he stays out of combat as much as possible. And our Hassashin, let's give you, got 2 points, could give you Stalker. I'm thinking we'll finish off Elusive, and then we'll start working on Shoot to Kill to improve his missile strength. And then, there we go. So, I didn't realise that they sent off an army down south, but they've swooped up now to Sudenburg. Now, bearing in mind, I don't think we can win this fight. No, definitely not with that amount of Ushapti. No, we'll auto-resolve it and take the hit. We'll have to send the army from the Black Pyramid down at some point in order to deal with this army, or even send the monsters off eventually. But for the moment, we'll just have to let it wander around and do its thing. Unless the Talakwa, because they're currently at war with them as well. Maybe they'll get involved and help a bit? Who knows? But the other thing I didn't show you guys, I must have forgot to think, I did start talking to be honest, and that was just a bunch of mumbling to myself. But they have also sent off 2 armies from the Black Tower to attack, lay siege to us at the Black Pyramid. All these different blacks, you would think they'd go for a different colour scheme, you know? But, yeah. That's a pretty cool colour. I don't remember seeing them purpley on the top here before. That looks quite nice. I have to remember that if I go for Age of Sigmar at some point. But Sudenburg has been sacked, unfortunate, but one of those things. Ooh, we have researched the Kitab al-Taswif, encyclopedias of medical texts that will serve our people for eons. All armies now get a +6 to casualty replenishment. That's good. Alright, we'll skip through all of that. We'll leave these guys to what they need to do. I'm also not going to bother repairing these because that's just money we could be potentially wasting. But you... what's going to look like if we start the assault out? We'll upgrade him first. We'll do that at least. We will go for... I would have liked to have gone for one of these right now, but we're not high enough. We've only got the 1 point. Let's increase your combat abilities. Do we have a better weapon than this to give you right now? Not yet, okay. Right. What happens if we tell you to attack? It's gonna be 50-50. Right. Okay, well, I'll tell you what I will do, actually, guys. I will end the episode here. So next time, we'll deal with a siege situation outside the Black Pyramid. If we have to fight them all, we'll fight them all, but I think that's what we're going to have to do. But while they're doing that, we can continue upgrading our army here. We can send Jaffar now to head after the last remaining Arachnos tribe army, deal with them, and then, yeah, we'll see how we do. So, for now though, guys, thank you very much for watching today's one. I hope you enjoyed, and you do join me next time for some more Warhammer. If you are interested as well in the tabletop version of Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000, you can find a link in the channel banner on my channel to my blog page where I've started to basically chronicle my progress back into the tabletop hobby. So if you want to check it out, that'd be great. Otherwise, take care everybody, stay safe, and goodbye for now.